The sun shone brilliantly on the sprawling campus of Maplewood University, where young dreams were about to take flight. Among the fresh faces stepping into the world of higher learning was an 18-year-old beauty named Jasmine. Jasmine wasn't just beautiful, she was breathtaking. Her caramel skin glowed in the sunlight, her long, jet-black hair cascaded down her back like silk, and her eyes, deep, brown pools, held an innocence that made men turn their heads. Dressed in a fitted white dress that complemented her curvaceous figure, she walked through the university gates, her confidence soaring. As she took in the sights and sounds of the new world around her, a black Mercedes-Benz rolled up beside her. The tinted window slid down smoothly, revealing a man with silver-streaked hair, dressed in a perfectly tailored navy blue suit. His presence exuded wealth and authority. He was old, perhaps in his late 50s, with wrinkles that only added to his aura of experience and power. "Excuse me, miss," he said, his voice deep and rich. "You look a little lost." "First day?" Jasmine hesitated but nodded, flashing a shy smile. The man extended his hand. "I'm Mr. Donovan, but you can call me Richard." There was something about him, perhaps the way he carried himself, the scent of expensive cologne that lingered in the air, or the casual confidence that only a man of status could possess, that intrigued Jasmine. "I'm Jasmine," she said, shaking his firm hand. Richard smiled. "A beautiful name for a beautiful lady. How about I welcome you to university life properly? Let me take you to a place where you can relax and enjoy yourself." Before she knew it, Jasmine was in the passenger seat of the luxurious car, marveling at the smooth ride as they drove through the city. Within minutes, they arrived at one of the finest restaurants in town, a place where chandeliers hung low and waiters wore crisp, white gloves. Inside, they took a seat by the window, overlooking the city skyline. Richard wasted no time. He ordered a large plate of golden, crispy chips and the most expensive drinks on the menu, champagne that sparkled like liquid gold. Jasmine felt herself sinking into the lap of luxury. The way Richard treated her, the way he effortlessly picked up the tab without even glancing at the bill, it made her realize how easy life could be with a man like him. As the night deepened, they moved to the restaurant's lounge, where soft jazz played and the floor opened for dancing. Richard extended his hand, pulling Jasmine close as they swayed to the rhythm. The warmth of his touch, the way he whispered sweet nothings into her ear, sent shivers down her spine. Hours passed, and the champagne had done its magic. Richard leaned in, his voice smooth as velvet. "How about we make this night even more special?" Jasmine, tipsy from the drinks and the rush of the evening, nodded. Soon, they found themselves in a high-end B&B, a place where luxury met comfort. The scent of fresh roses filled the air, and the dim lights cast a golden glow over the lavish suite. Jasmine had never imagined her first day at university would take such a turn. But as she looked into Richard's eyes, she knew one thing for certain. This was just the beginning of a life she never knew she wanted. And she wasn't about to let it slip away. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Jasmine had fully embraced the life of luxury Richard provided. Shopping sprees, vacations, and the finest dining experiences replaced her modest university lifestyle. In the process, she completely forgot about her boyfriend, Daniel, the one who had supported and loved her before she met Richard. One evening, while lounging in her lavish apartment, there was an unexpected knock at the door. Jasmine hesitated before opening it, only to find Daniel standing there, his face filled with both longing and confusion. "Jasmine," he asked, his voice almost breaking. Before she could respond, Richard appeared behind her, draping an arm around her waist possessively. Daniel's eyes widened in shock, the betrayal cutting deep. His fists clenched at his sides, and he took a step back, his breath uneven. I thought we had something," Daniel murmured, his voice shaking. His eyes glistened with unshed tears. Jasmine felt frozen, caught between two worlds, the comfort of the past and the seductive luxury of the present. She took a step forward, reaching out. "Daniel, wait." Before she could continue, Richard tightened his grip and whispered sternly in her ear, "Don't." Let him go. Daniel shook his head, a bitter smile forming. I see how it is, he said before turning away, his shoulders hunched in defeat. As he walked down the hallway, Jasmine could see the tears rolling down his cheeks. She wanted to run after him, to explain, to tell him she never meant for this to happen. But Richard's words echoed in her mind, his influence too strong. She stood there, watching the love of her past walk away, knowing she had made a choice she could never take back. That night, Richard left her apartment, stepping into the early morning mist, leaving Jasmine alone with her thoughts. The luxury, the wealth, it all suddenly felt empty. 2 years passed, and Jasmine found herself facing a new reality. She was pregnant with Richard's child. The news hit her hard, shaking the foundation of her seemingly perfect life. University was no longer a priority as she was suspended from her studies to focus on her pregnancy. Fear consumed her, but Richard assured her that everything would be taken care of. He rented her a luxurious house where she could stay until she gave birth. Regular hospital visits were arranged, and she was given the best medical care money could buy. Months later, the time came. Richard rushed her to the hospital, where she endured hours of labor. But when the baby was born, a chilling reality set in. The child had no legs. Jasmine's heart pounded with terror as she looked at the tiny, frail infant. The doctors were puzzled, but deep inside, she knew this was no coincidence. Rumors of Richard's involvement in dark rituals had always lurked in the shadows, and now, she feared the consequences of her choices had manifested in the most horrifying way. Richard, however, remained eerily calm. He simply held the child and whispered, "This is fate." Jasmine stared at him, realizing that she had walked into a life she could no longer control, and the price of her luxury had finally been revealed.